I've just been sent a watch from Seiko. Yeah, but is it the best money can buy? Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. And today, yes, it's all about a Seiko. Now, I was very fortunate enough to be contacted by Seiko. Yeah, Mr. Seiko. No, not really. But they wanted to send me a watch. Something that was newly released that they were pretty chuffed about. And I'm not one to ever say no to a Seiko. I said, bring it on. Now, even though this watch is not cheap, it definitely represents the best of the best Seiko currently does right now. And there has been upgrades to particular parts of the watch I think you guys should see, and to try and definitively answer what makes a £1,600 Seiko £1,600. This watch has been heavily influenced by the dive watches of old. Yes, 60 years of creating fantastic dive watches. This one is inspired by the Marine Master back in 1968. I think it was the first Seiko to have a water resistance of 300 meters. It has a very iconic case to Seiko. Some would say even more iconic than the 62 Mass. And I would probably say it's Seiko's sort of Submariner or Seamaster. And when you think that a regular Seamaster is like £5,000 to £6,000 and a Rolex Submariner is £7,000 to £8,000, after you see this show, hopefully you're going to realise that £1,600, even though it is a lot of money, it has been spread along this watch very well. So, what are my thoughts on this watch? What are the wife's thoughts on this watch? And should I be making a space once again for another new Seiko? Your wife would say no! Are you Seiko dive watch ready? Let's go! And ladies and gentlemen, here is the SPB 519 1968 Heritage GMT. The J meaning that this watch was completely made and assembled in Japan. And that usually comes at a premium, people. But look at this shiny beast. It's definitely a dive watch that wants to be seen, there's no doubt about that. But it has some fantastic colour combinations, doesn't it? Love the silvery white dial. The blue of the ceramic bezel is nice, even though I'm not a shiny ceramic bezel type of guy. Those little accents of red, well, just makes the whole watch pop. Now, when you spend a certain amount of money with Seiko, you get finishing that you just can't find anywhere else for this sort of price. That black mirrored Saratsu finishing is something very special. It's the only type of finishing you can actually see yourself in, like a mirror. It's quite off-putting, actually. Is that my face? But whatever has been used to brush this stainless steel, it looks like there has been a lot of time taken to do so. The angles, the facets, the beveled edges, and even for such a well-made and finished watch, Seiko have still got drilled lugs on the watch. On first impressions, it's just such a good-looking, well-made beast. Quick spec check! So we've got a 42mm diameter case. The watch is 13.3mm thick, has a lug-to-lug of 48.6mm, and a strapaholic 20mm lug width. This watch is definitely not small, but it is very compact, and Seiko have done a great job not only making this case and making it look so good, but it's gonna fit on most people's wrist. The dial is protected by a beautiful boxed sapphire crystal. The unsigned crown, I know that triggers a lot of you out there, I'm fine with it. That is screw in, and with a screw down case back, and a beautiful looking case back that is, by the way. This watch is water resistant to 300 meters, and that may be why it's quite a bit of a chunky boy at 13, just under 13.5mm. Onto the bezel, and yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of shiny bezels, I've got to be honest. I'd rather have the vintage aesthetic, that look that aluminium gives, or if you're gonna use ceramic, make it matte. But there is a definite intentional decision by Seiko to make this shiny blue, well, because they want it to pop off the wrist, and it is sure gonna do that. We have a loom pip at the 12 o'clock. It's 120 click unidirectional, and well, it's got Seiko's spongy wonginess, that's what I like to call it, but it has that refined spongy wonginess to it, you know? Have a listen. Only a feeling you get with Seiko's. Very nice. Onto the bracelet, and this is where upgrades are, well, in full swing. The ends are solid, it's a 3-link affair, and the links are small. Really nice articulation with this bracelet. It's still pin and collars. I do apologise about that. I don't know why I'm apologising. It was Seiko that did it, not me. But take a look at this clasp. This is new. It's new to me, and it's new for Seiko. Push button deploying. The clasp is milled, and would you believe it, we have a double deploying micro extension. How many times have people wanted that on a Seiko? Well, they've got it. I think this gives you around 15 millimeters of extra extension.
Just in case your wrist gets really big.
They're listening, Seiko fans, aren't they? Sort of. Okay, let's look at the face. Dial time. And it's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful, but it's still very legible. We have that little Reholt chapter ring that shows a 24-hour scale. It's very subtle, but then it falls into this, I don't know, milky, silvery, white, sunbursty dial. We've got polished applied markers, printed everywhere else. We do unfortunately have a date window between the 4 and the 5. Symmetry is gone, but it is subtle enough that you could choose not to see it. Anyway, love the handset. Faceted, very crisp looking, particularly the tips. Love that GMT hand. And the second hand is almost exactly the same as my Willard. I absolutely love that popper red and loom on that second hand. It is phenomenal. All in all, a fabulous Seiko dial that looks pretty, but it's done tooly.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Right, hold on to your sunglasses. We've got loom on the bezel pip, loom on the handset, and loom on the hour markers. Out of 10, how much does this puppy glow? Way, there we go. Seiko's Lumibright technology, never letting us down. Okay, interestingly enough, this watch is powered by the same movement as this watch, the SPB 411 I currently am wearing right now, which I absolutely love. I bought that as a little present for myself when this channel hit 100,000 subscribers. My, haven't we grown since? Anyway, the movement is the 6R54, 24 joules, has 72 hours of power reserve, and beats away at 21,600 beats per hour. Yes, it is a 3 Hz movement in a £1,600 watch. And while that is sinking in, check out the tolerances that Seiko give this movement. It's plus 25 to minus 15 seconds a day. Seiko always like to give you the worst case scenario. The movement inside my SPB 411 was running at plus 1 second a day. This SPB 519 I very much doubt is anywhere near the worst case scenario Seiko gives it. Expect it to run like a dream. We have to understand that this is a Seiko in-house movement. They made everything. There's no third party anything. Anyway, this is what they call an office GMT, which means I can independently move the GMT hand. Perfect for when you've gone on holiday and you'd like to know what the time is, well, in the country you've just left. This is an automatic movement. It hacks, it hand winds, and I came away from it feeling, well, quite good with myself and the watch.
Hello.
On my 6.5-inch wrist, and I absolutely love this case, people. I'm quite surprised I haven't had this case either from these SPBs or SLAs, like the Willard, the Turtle, and of course the SKX. Over the years, Seiko have had some really iconic case designs, and this really is one of them. And it's the type of case Seiko have been able to make, I don't know, just look so premium, and it just sits on the wrist so well. So there we go, the SPB 519J1 Heritage 1968 GMT. What do you think? Barring the fact we don't have a 4 Hertz movement inside like an 8L35, this is pretty much the best it gets for Seiko in terms of finishing, attention to detail, and honouring a very iconic watch from decades ago. For me, I do feel like they put a reissue tax on some of these Seikos. So an extra, I don't know, £200-300 on top because, listen, you're getting an icon of ours. And, you know, they can do that. Hamilton have just brought out this new Power Reserve field mechanical watch that is around £800. When you and I can remember back to 2020 when a Hamilton field mechanical cost about £350. Those days, unfortunately, are over. And if you like the watch, you gotta pay for it. Or you wait a year or two to see if the prices come down, or there may be a little bit of wiggle room with authorized dealers on these watches. One thing is for certain though, this watch is an absolute beauty. I would, of course, take this into my collection within a heartbeat. There are a couple of things like the shiny bezel that stops it from being one of my, you know, grails I have to own. And it having that Zaratsu polishing, I'd be worried about scratching it, particularly the way I wear my watches. Give us a dive watch with a 4 Hertz movement for under £1,000 and absolutely obliterate the competition. You've got the power to do that, Seiko, and we've got the money. Maybe if the wife lets me. So here it is, my wife's thoughts of the SPB 519 GMT. Haha! This is way too shiny. Like a posh man's watch. It's rude, isn't it? It's got more mirrors than our house has. I don't like it. Doesn't appreciate the workmanship that's gone into that finishing of the case, you know. The amount of hours and years it's taken to get that hand finishing, you know. She don't understand, does she? Thank you so much to Seiko for sending this in. It'll be winging its way back to you pronto. If you'd like to show more support to the Mad Watch Collector channel, we've got a Patreon now. Behind the scenes content, see the shows before anyone else, blooper reels, private group chat, and get your name credited at the end of the show like this lovely lot. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, and I hope I have, why don't you click this? I don't know what it'll be. I put best for viewer, but you're here for Seiko. So am I. Go on, click it. Click it. Click it.